Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Jen with Bohemian Path Tarot, and it's time for August readings. This video is for the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, welcome. If you're looking for another sign, check out the videos for the fire signs or the earth signs or the air signs. They're labeled with the individual signs on there. As always, this will be an intuitive general reading, so we'll cover whatever the cards toss out. Remember that you have free will, so you can claim the messages or you can make other plans. Take what resonates for you and leave the rest. This month I am using the Good Karma Tarot, which is a new deck for me. I am using the Runes for Modern Life rune deck and the Green Witches Oracle for the Oracle deck. Now I'm going to break out the different signs into chapters so you can skip ahead to your sign, and I will meet you in your reading. See you there. Hello, Cancer. Let's grab your rune for August. Ooh, Pertho. Okay, and your oracle? Hearth. Okay. And your tarot for August. Strength. The Hermit. Three of Swords and the Hanged Woman. Okay. I apologize if you hear the yelling in my neighborhood. There's a crew kind of in the front of my building that's doing a little cleaning, so I apologize if you hear them yelling to each other. Okay, so starting with Pertho, this is a cool rune. This can kind of be interpreted in two ways. It is the mystery rune. It is the chance rune. So one way we can interpret it is that, or one way it's classically been interpreted is that it's too mysterious. The, spirits don't want to share any mysteries with you. Pack up your runes and go home. There's no mysteries to be revealed today. That's one way that this particular rune has been classically interpreted. But I don't cotton to that interpretation. But the mystery piece can be interpreted in that a mystery can or should be revealed, or something that you hadn't known, sort of like a surprise, or you hear something about like two coworkers are involved that you hadn't suspected were involved, or it could be, some sort of mysterious happenstance is revealed. It could be that kind of a mystery. So there's the mystery aspect of Pertho. The way I more commonly interpret this rune is the chance rune. It was also associated with the dice cup, the gambling aspect of it. So it can be about taking a risk, taking a chance, going for it. And that's what kind of makes more sense with your tarot. So I think that is the message that applies in your case. There may also be a bit of the mystery of aspect of enlightenment here, because we see that in your main tarot, and I'll get to that in a second. So we can see that piece as well. Now, when we look at your oracle card here, Hearth is about safety, comfort, spiritual connection, feeling, feeling safe, creating an environment of safety, making options or choosing the safe option. So even as you take a risk, there is a kind of a call here for a calculated risk, right? To go the safe route, even as you take a chance on something that makes sense, that makes you feel safe or comfortable, or maybe about a home environment or a house or a hearth or something that would provide comfort or shelter. So take that as it makes sense for you. Now let's get into your tarot. The Hanged Woman is a card that is about gaining enlightenment, but needing to get a new perspective. So it's about something that you have done or some way of being that hasn't worked for you, that requires a new thought process or a new perspective or a new way of thinking about things. You may have had a habit or a routine or an expectation or a vision for your life that hasn't come to fruition. You may have been kind of knocking on the same doors or trying the same methods to get to a certain place that just didn't get you the results you wanted. The Hanged Woman suggests getting a new perspective, maybe getting out of your own head, getting new, talking to some new folks, getting a different financial advisor, a different real estate agent, or, maybe even just stop talking to people altogether, taking a nature hike, taking a spa day, or, getting a completely, going to Europe, or, getting a completely different perspective, taking a break altogether. And that's when the epiphany comes. The Hanged Woman suggests, if you can see here, maybe even a yoga retreat, right? Even though she's upside down, she doesn't look stressed. She actually is having this epiphany in this upside down space. She may be upside down, but she is having this moment of clarity because she sees things the way they need to be seen. And even though, she's in this strange sort of position, it's this flexibility that allows her to have the clarity that she needs. So maybe it's a yoga retreat, right? Whatever it is, it's getting out of the routine, even though we just talked about routines over here. It's getting out of the same old that gives you the epiphany to have the breakthrough to move forward. So the next card we have here is confidence. You find the confidence after having this breakthrough to ask for the thing you need, or to take the chance, or to go in a new direction, to see progress. The Strength card is about asking for what you want or sticking up for yourself, taking the next steps. It isn't about being brutal or brash even. It's about confidence. It's about grace. It's about knowing you deserve the next steps and knowing what they are. Now, we also have the Hermit here, which isn't about being alone necessarily. It's about trusting in your wisdom, your expertise, this epiphany you had over here, trusting that you know what's right. The Hermit is actually the like the next octave of the Fool card. In the Fool card, we have a sort of a newbie who is rushing out in the bright light of day to have a new experience. They don't know what they're going. They don't care. They just can't wait to have a new experience, right? The Hermit is typically, this is unusual artwork for the Hermit, but the Hermit is typically walking at night with a candle, and they also have some place to go, but they're more careful, they're more cautious. The Fool card, let's see, maybe I could find one here. I should always have the version of the Rider-Waite-Smith so I can show you the difference in the art. Well, I don't have it here, but the Fool card is typically depicted just about to walk off a cliff, whereas the Hermit is carefully walking on the side of a mountain. So the Hermit has more wisdom. Even though they're walking in the dark, they're walking more cautiously. The Hermit has gained more wisdom. It is later in, they have more experience. So just like the Hanged Woman, and it doesn't matter your gender, the Hanged Woman has these epiphany sort of lines here. There's also this kind of epiphany lines in the candle that the Hermit has here. This is knowledge. So the Hermit has this knowledge, is moving forward with this awareness, with this knowledge, with this wisdom, and is taking the next steps. Okay, so the only little tricky bit here is the Three of Swords, and obviously this looks a little bit gnarly, but the thing about the Three of Swords is getting your head and heart back into alignment. It does indicate that you're healing after some kind of a loss. Something didn't go to plan. For some of you, it could be a relationship. For some people, it might be, for some Cancers, it might be something like losing out on a job position maybe you had hoped for, or losing out on another option, maybe a house, or some sort of sometimes it can even be grief, right? Genuine grief for the loss of a person. But in any case, I send my thoughts out to you for whatever you're working through in this card. But the Three of Swords coming up indicates that you are working through this, that you are healing and working to get your head and heart back into alignment, that you are working to be more productive in your life as you work through whatever the loss is. Some loss is harder to work through than others. Some stays with you. Some loss stays with you longer than others, right? But whatever the case is, working to find safety and comfort as you acknowledge this epiphany, this new vision of what you need to move forward, and the strength to take the steps and make progress. Take a chance on you and your new vision. Cancer, it looks like August is a time for progress and moving forward as you heal. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I'm going to leave it there. If this has been helpful, I invite you to leave a comment, like, share, or subscribe. It's free. But in any case, please take good care of yourself. And until next time, bye for now. Hello, Scorpio. Let's grab your rune card for August. Ooh, nice. Behu. And your oracle. Mortar and Pestle. That's cool. And your tarot for August. Oh, cool. Okay. So Fehu is about income, earned income, your stuff. Traditionally, Fehu was like cattle. So it was like your possessions and what you could count. What you could count as like resources and your stuff, what you could take to market, what you could sell, what you could trade, what you could count on. So when Fehu comes up, it indicates, it often indicates something like being in a sort of commercial, a commerce mindset, or has to do with your financial picture, jobs, your career trajectory, being mindful about your wares, your stuff, maybe bringing something to market, maybe being entrepreneurial, maybe getting a new job. Take it as it makes sense for you, right? I always have to be mindful that there are people of all ages that watch my channel, so this energy could play out in a number of different ways depending on where you are in your life. But it could be something like getting a new job, getting a new role at work. It could be getting a new financial planner and moving money stuff around. It usually has to do with your earned income, though, not so much about inheritance, but more about how you move your resources around, how you deal with your resources, how you handle your resources, and how you plan to make more or don't. But usually it's about your intent to work with your resources. Okay. And then Mortar and Pestle is about integration, subtlety, thoroughness, bringing more into your life, and that sort of the combination. So integrating more like balance into your life. This can be something like work-play balance, making sure you have more work-play balance into your life. It can be about being more thorough, thoughtful. It can be more on top of your calendar, that sort of idea. So bringing those two together, being thoughtful, being on top of your calendar, can help with your financial abundance or career planning, can help the success in terms of your dealing with your resources. So it could be a month, even though some folks, certainly in the northern hemisphere, we look at August as, the first few weeks of August, we're rushing around trying to get a little bit of summer relaxation in before school starts again. And we get back into that cycle. It could be about planning and prepping your career advancement or entrepreneurial advancement or something along those lines. The tarot kind of supports that, actually, or certainly getting back on track with something more fruitful and fulfilling. We see your main theme is sailing away from chaos and into something more peaceful, calm, The Six of Swords is about moving away from choppy waters and getting into clarity, making choices, making progress. For a lot of folks, it indicates a time when there had been maybe chaos, indecision, missed communication, or misinformation that led to poor decisions, or a little bit of just general chaos. Maybe financial misplanning or financial mismanagement even. And now it looks like she's literally climbing out of maybe a funk, or climbing out of a financial hole, could be for some folks, but climbing towards something better or something more fulfilling. And it usually has to do with information. It could even be education, but it could be getting on top of finances, being more aware of a situation, more aware of the relationship between, your financial picture and, goals, or something along those lines. Really looking at your bottom line. It could be something along those lines. It could be just generally better communication between you and roommates, or you and employers, making choices about your hours or something along those lines. Deciding to leave places of employment that just are not well suited to your goals, or, work-play balance. Take it as it makes sense for you, but this card suggests that you're moving away from chaos or ill-fitting situations towards calmer situations. Now, that does indicate there might be a little jealousy, or there might be moments of friction amongst family members, or potentially co-workers, colleagues. The Five of Wands indicates a little bit of ego friction with people who may be close to you. I do see that more with like siblings or co-workers. This can come up with folks who maybe think that they have some sort of say in your world, and it's probably going to be time for you to say that they don't, or to be clear and concise, and still be kind, or professional, and indicate, or even be more of a leader and indicate that there may be folks that just don't have a say, or maybe folks like colleagues have been unprofessional, and it's time for you to rise above a certain amount of unprofessional behavior, and move on. We have perhaps as important a card as the Six of Swords here is your Wheel of Fortune. This is about changing fortunes. More opportunities are coming in, more opportunities for advancement. So if you do want to change jobs, or change living situations, or collaborate with folks, whatever makes sense in your world, the Wheel of Fortune indicates opportunities are available for you to move on, collaborate, as the case may be. So say yes, participate, be available, check your DMs. There are folks who want to work with you. There are opportunities, send your resume out as it applies. Now, this is kind of similar to the Five of Wands in that, but this is more internal. The Four of Coins, or the Four of Pentacles, is a card that suggests that you may be holding on to resources out of fear of failure, or fear of success, or concern that you don't have enough, or concern that you'll run out. The Four of Coins, or the Four of Pentacles, is kind of a scarcity card, or a sort of shyness card. Sometimes we don't show up in interviews or auditions or on first dates as our true authentic self out of a fear that we'll be misunderstood, or out of lack of practice, or just a scarcity mindset. And the inherent advice in the Four of Pentacles is to open up, loosen up, invest in yourself, invest in other people, invest in your dreams, to go ahead and trust in yourself, in others, in the opportunities that are coming your way. Take a chance, because you are climbing away from the sort of scarcity mindset and towards a richer, more abundant future. So it might be about investing in a better pantsuit for job interviews, or investing a little bit in somebody else on a first date, or just showing yourself fully on a first date. Take it as it makes sense for you, but this card suggests it's not a time to be shy or hold back. It's a time to be open as you reach for the summit or the pinnacle of your success. You can really only do that if you're open and vulnerable and ready to share yourself. Yeah, I mean, let's compare and contrast these two characters, right? This is, someone who enjoys her kind of rich bee status, right? And even if she isn't a millionaire, she's just enjoying going out and having fun. So this gal can take a little message. It doesn't mean, spending all your coin, but just being a little more open, having fun, sharing yourself, being vulnerable. That's the message there. Yeah, that's the permission slip from this tarot reading. So I hope that's helpful. I'm going to leave it there for you, Scorpio. It does look like a progress-filled month, with just a little bit of a heads up not to let the jealous people keep you down, and not to let the old habit of being sort of stingy with yourself hold you back. Okay? I hope this has been helpful. If so, I invite you to leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. It's free. But in any case, take good care of yourself. Until next time, bye for now. Hello, Pisces. Let's grab your rune for August. Canaz, nice. I think it was like all of the earth signs got this too. So this is sort of a theme for August. Let's grab your oracle. Ooh, nice. Harvest. We like that. Okay, and your tarot for August. The Emperor, Temperance, Judgment, and the Nine of Wands. Okay, I think we see what's going on here. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, Pisces. So first of all, the thing with Canaz is it's the fire of inspiration. It's that spark when you get really excited about an idea, a concept. When you learn something new and it like sets you ablaze, that idea. Because all of the runes are very elemental. They're fire, they're bull, they're daybreak, they're water, they're, storm, they're all elemental, they're all forces of nature, right? But as, associated with some other, human need or want or drive. So this is the fire of inspiration. And so I'm, as I described to all of the earth signs, I'm not quite sure like what this illustration is about, sort of like following the idea to the light, or going to the light source, following the light of inspiration, I guess. I'm not sure. But there's that piece where you want to know, when you're kind of set ablaze with inspiration, or you want to know more, you want to do more with it, or you want to be associated with people who do that thing or have that thing or also are into that thing, right? So there's something here. Maybe it's a creative thing. People who are also so inspired or also ambitious about this thing. It might be a team, like I always talk about improv on this channel, right? Anybody who's been here before knows that. It's heard me talk about it a million times. It might be joining an improv team or going to a convention of some sort, or, deciding to go back to school or something like that. But there's something here that inspires you or, pushes you forward or keeps you going, right? And it's that determination, or that inspiration, or that that invitation to keep going forward, that fire that drives you, that gives you a harvest. Your oracle card over here is that, by staying with it, by keeping with it, that determination, you have the harvest. In this particular oracle deck, harvest isn't about, the fruits. It isn't about getting the money for, sticking with it. It's the hard work of the harvest is what this particular oracle card speaks to. Sometimes when we talk about harvest, it's the celebration, it's the pumpkin pie, it's the, apple, the basket full of apples or whatever. But in this oracle deck, we're talking about doing the work, because harvest is, having all the hands in the fields and not just bringing in the fruit or the wheat or the whatever it is, but it's also cleaning up all the detritus, packaging all the product, and paying all the farmers and farmhands, and bringing all the farm equipment back and servicing the farm equipment and shipping everything and da-da-da-da-da. It's a ton of work, right? So this is talking about the hard work of the harvest. So this has you in August doing some hard work. You're inspired, but you're also doing some hard work. And then your tarot echoes that. The Nine of Wands is someone who has been through it. Someone is near the harvest. They can see the end of the line, right? But they have been through it. And there is some part of the Nine of Wands that suggests you maybe will need to put up some boundaries or say no to some projects or some people or some opportunities in order to see something to the finish line. You might be very busy in August, taking care of one project or one thing you're excited about, or you might have to be really discriminating about what you can do and what you can't do. You might really have to micromanage your calendar here. And, no is a complete sentence. It's a complete idea. No thank you is fine, right? But so you may have to protect a particular project, your health, your sanity. There may even be doctor's visits or something in order to protect. Don't be afraid to delegate, to reach out, whatever. You're working on something here and you're building something here, and you're so close to, the basket full of apples, right? And the pumpkin pie, but you're still kind of doing the work of it. But the surrounding cards here, Pisces, before you get discouraged, the surrounding cards here suggest you're in a really empowered place. The Emperor is the card of a person who is creating their vision, who is making things happen, who has a vision of a very particular specific world and is making it happen. So as I mentioned, like with the improviser, right? Somebody who might want to be a comic when they grow up, and has, specific steps that they have to follow in order to reach that career. This is the person that is making those steps happen and is seeing the results in the real world. That's what the Emperor says. As you take those steps to build that world, it is being it is manifesting in the real world. Now, the Temperance card does remind us to make time to balance self-care, self healing, work and play, need to have a place in your calendar, even though you're building this thing, even though you're just about to reap the rewards of all your hard work, right? As you're building this beautiful empire, do make sure you make time in your empire, make a place in your empire for self-care, whether that's yoga or meditation or walks in nature, whatever it is. Do take time for balance and recalibration, because the Nine of Wands suggests that burnout is real. By the end of the month, you are going to see your new life. The Judgment card is the card of victory. It is the coming out of that small box, that small little life into heaven, into the new world, into your new life. The traditional image in the Rider-Waite-Smith version of the tarot cards, and I'm going to start keeping that version because I reference it so often, but in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith version of the Judgment card, we have men, women, children stepping out of little boxes, little coffins, called by an angel, and they're being liberated from their small little lives into this new world where there is no judgment, where they get to be completely free to be themselves, and everything in the past is sort of wiped away, and they're free to live in this new world. So the idea here is anything that you were in the past that you were ashamed of or disappointed about or fearful about is wiped away, and you get to step into this new world. You get to breathe freely. You get to be the true version of yourself. So this could be something like a new job, a new living situation, whatever you're building over here, this is the harvest, right? This is what you've been working towards. So we see in your reading, you're inspired by something. There's something you're working very hard towards, and you may have to sacrifice something or put something important on the back burner, or you may have done for a while. You may feel like you don't even know if you can go the distance. I used to call the Nine of Wands card my mile 19 card. I did a marathon one time, and I am not a jock. I did it to raise money for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And, you know, I trained for the marathon, but it was still a heck of a lot of work. And when I was actually in the marathon, I got to mile 19 and I thought, wow, I just don't know if I can even go any further. Even though I've put all this work and all this effort into it, I could just stop. Because this is not me. I've already raised the money. I've already done everything, and this is just crazy. But I kept going. I just kept putting one foot in front of the other, and somehow I made it to mile 20, and then I made it to mile 21, 22, 23. I made it all 26.2 miles. I made it through. But the hardest mile was mile 19 for me. And so you may be having a mile 19 moment, but just, you know, keep putting one foot in front of the other. Keep mindful of your vision. You're building it. It's happening. Take a little spa day if you have to, or a little walk in nature, or reach out to a friend, however you recalibrate, reconnect, ground, heal yourself, delegate, say no. The harvest is coming. Your hard work is for a reason. And very soon you are about to step into a whole new life. It is blessed by an angel. You are called to this work, whatever it is you're building, whatever it is you're working towards. You know, it might not be an actual job. It might be something you're doing for your kids. It might be something, you know, take it as it makes sense for you, Pisces. There could be any number of things. There's a million stories out there, right? So take it as it makes sense to you. But whatever you are changing, building, rearranging in your world, the harvest is coming. Just take care of yourself, okay? Pisces, I hope this has been helpful. If so, I invite you to leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. It's free. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, bye for now.